Now we're at the stage where maybe we want to have multiple conversions. So right now you should be okay with doing single-step conversions using this kind of method here, where you just have a unit cancel out and you have one unit left. And you only need one conversion factor. But there could be times when you need multiple conversion factors. For example, on number 4e, which I didn't go through in the last video, but was hoping you might be able to figure out. You've got kiloseconds, and eventually you want to get to nanoseconds. And you might be able to do that directly if you know the relationship between kilo and nano. But what I like to do is think of kiloseconds going to seconds and then going to nanoseconds. And this is what I call a concept map or a roadmap of how to solve this problem. So we might want to first go to second, since I know there's 1,000. Oh, and by the way, I'm violating my own rule. I like to do the units first just to make sure that I don't jump ahead. So I don't want to put the number in the wrong place. So I know kiloseconds goes down here, seconds goes up there. Kilo means 1,000, so I'm going to do 1,000 here. So there we go. I've accomplished this first conversion, kiloseconds to seconds. Now I can actually do one more conversion just by filling in another bracket right here. So for this bracket, I want to continue on. I want to take seconds, put it down here, and I want to convert it to nanoseconds to get my final answer. Now I need to know what nano means. That means 10 to the minus 9. So I'm going to put it with seconds here. 1 nanosecond is 10 to the minus 9 seconds. I want to just double check and make sure that makes sense. Does that make sense that one small unit is a fraction of a larger unit? Yes. So the math you would do is 0.005, is it? Times 1,000 divided by 10 to the minus 9. So without a calculator, well, you can use a calculator if you want, but I don't have one in front of me, so I'm just going to do 5 times 10 to the minus 3 times 10 to the 3. That's just 5. So those numbers cancel out. And then on the bottom, I want to divide that by 10 to the minus 9, which is the same as multiplying it by its inverse. So 5 divided by 10 to the minus 9 is the same as 5 times 10 to the 9. There we go. Or use your calculator if you want to, but hopefully you wouldn't have to use it if you know your exponents really well. Okay, so now let's get to this. For these problems then, I want you to practice going from one thing to something else to something else. There we go. So it's going to involve 2 steps, okay? And the road map is you're going from kilometer to centimeter, and hopefully you're thinking, I'll go through a base unit. Okay, so here's my base unit. So I have 1 conversion, 2 conversions. Okay, so let's try one together. How many millimeters are in 29 micrometers? So I'm going to start with 29 micrometer. I'm going to set up 2 conversions. How do I know I need 2 conversions? Besides the title of this worksheet, I know that I want to go through a base unit. So my roadmap is going to be micrometers is what I'm starting with, to meters, to millimeters. All right, so I'm going to go micrometer up here needs to go down here. I'm going to meters, and then I'm going to go from meters to millimeters. Now I'm going to fill in these relationships based on metric system. A micrometer means 10 to the minus 6 meters. Or 1 meter is 1,000,000, 10 to the 6 micrometers. You could have the inverse, right? You could also have 1,000 millimeters is equal to 1 meter. And then you can do your multiplication across, and then we just have 1 in the bottom, so you just divide by 1. Okay, so 10 to the minus 6 times 10 to the 3 is the same as adding these two, so 10 to the minus 6 plus 3. So 10 to the minus 3. Now students usually leave it in that form, but it is nice to put it into standard scientific notation, meaning let's get this number between 1 and 10. So what I do, there's several ways you can do this. One is just convert this number into its decimal format. So 123.029, that's the same as this number. And then you can convert it to 2.9 times 10 to the minus 2. That's probably easier than my way. Well, I don't know. I like my way, though. My way is this number, I want to make it smaller by 1 power of 10. So I'm going to move it to 2.9. But then to compensate, I need to make this number bigger by a unit of 10. So it needs to be minus 2. So same number, just a different way of thinking about it. Okay, so all of these involve two conversions going through the base unit, and it will give you practice with these conversions. So good luck with that.